Hello, students. Good morning to each and every one of you. This is Jason with you, and we are back with our another chapter in English, The Road Not Taken. So, let's get started. This well known poem is about making choices and the choice that shape us. Robert Frost is an American poet who writes simply but insightfully about common and ordinary experience. So basically, this poem is about uh, which the road symbolizes our life. The poet says that the path that we don't choose in our life is the road not taken. He describes his feeling about the choice that he had left in the past. So, the important message that the poet want to give is the choice that we make has an impact on our future. And if we make a wrong decision or a wrong choice, we regret, but we cannot go back on it. So, we must be wise while making choices. So, let's get started. This is the introduction to the poem. So, we are coming to the first stanza. Stanza number one. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry, I could not travel both. And be one traveler, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Here, the meaning of diverged is separated and took a different direction. The meaning for yellow wood is a forest with decomposing leaves. Also, the meaning of undergrowth here is dense growth of plants and bushes, means the forest. So we are coming into the explanation what this stanza says. So once the poet was walking down a road, and then there was a diversion. There were two different paths and he had to choose one out of them. The poet says as he was one person, he could travel on one road only. He had to choose one out of those two roads. Yellow woods means a forest with leaves which are wearing out and they had turned yellow in color. Basically, yellow in color means the season of autumn. It represents a world which is full of people where people have been living for many years. They represent people who are older than the author or the poet. The poet kept standing there and looked at the path very carefully as far as he could see it. Before taking the path, he wanted to know how it was. Was it suitable for him or not? He was able to see the path till where he was able to see the path till from where it curved, after which it was covered with trees and hidden. It happens in our life also. When we have choices, we have alternatives, but we have to choose only one out of them. We take time to think about the pros and cons, whether it is suitable for us or not, and only then we take a decision on what path we should choose. I hope you all understand the first stanza. Now going to the second stanza. Then took the other, just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though, as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. The meaning of fair here means as good as the one another. Claim means better option. Grassy means unused, never used before. Wanted wear had not been used. So the poet kept on looking at one path for a long time to check if it is right path for him or not. And then he decided to start walking on another path because he felt that the both paths were equally good. He says just as fair. So he felt that both paths were equally good and started walking one on them. He adds that he felt that the path was better for him, so he chooses it had grass on it, which means it was unused. So basically, when we walk on something on a grass, the grass removes from the path, but he chooses a path which had a grass on it. That means it was never used. Not many people had walked on this path earlier. That is why. this path was grassy. And wanted where means that it was not walked over by many people. After he walked on the path for some distance, he realized that both the paths had been worn out the same way. Both the paths were similar and worn out. Even in our life, we take any option or path, but all of them have the same benefit, same disadvantages, same problems, same challenges, and we must face them. We think that we are choosing a better option, but it is not the same way, or it is not the way we can say it. Now, stanza number 3. And both that morning equally lay. In leaves, no step had trodden back. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way lead on to way, and I doubted if I should ever come back. Here, trodden means walked over. The poet says that both the paths were similar that morning. Both had leaves on them, and no one had stepped on them as they were still green in color. He decided that that day he would take one path and keep the other path for another day. Although he knew that one way leads to another way, he knew that he could not go back on the choice that he had made. Similarly, even in our life, once we choose an option, we must keep on moving ahead with that option, and we never get a chance to come back and take the other option that we had left earlier. Now, stanza number 4. I shall be telling this with a sign. Somewhere ages and ages, hence two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Sign here, sigh, 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 that means deep breath. And here the meaning of hence. Hence is here or in the future. So he says that in the future, he will take a deep breath and say that once upon a time, he had reached such a point in life that there were two options for him, and he traveled on that road which had traveled by less number of people. That decision of his decided, that decision of his decision made his future. Similarly, in future, when you grow up, then you will say that once upon a time, when you were young, you had two options. The choice that you made you. What you become of it. This is a very strong message for all the students, that you should be wise and careful while making choices out of options that you have in your life, because future depends on the choices that you make today. I hope you all understood the poem. So basically, as I mentioned earlier, the poem basically says the path which we choose, it decides our future. इन शॉर्ट, जो भी रास्ता हम चुनते हैं, जो भी डिसीशंस हम लेते हैं, वो हमारा फ्यूचर और हमारी मंजिल, हमारा डेस्टिनेशन वो चूज़ करते हैं. ठीक है. और एक चीज़ और है इसमें, जो भी हम डिसीजन लेते हैं हमारी लाइफ के, वो हमें सोच के, समझ के और दिमाग लगा के, अच्छे से सोच के ही डिसीजन लेना चाहिए. बिकॉज हम एक बार अगर कोई डिसीजन ले लें, फिर उस डिसीजन को चेंज करना या फिर पीछे जाके उसको चेंज करना पॉसिबल किसी की भी लाइफ में नहीं है. सो वी मस्ट बी वाइज while making choices. I hope you all understand this poem. It's very simple and very easy. So till then, bye bye, take care, until the next class.